This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, welcome to the Easthampton City Council Public Safety Meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 1st. It is 6 p.m. We are here in Conference Room 1 in 50 Payson, as well as remotely on Google Meets and wherever Councilor Derby happens to be. Present, obviously, is myself. We have Councilor Derby remote, and Councilor Munier is also present. We also have City Council President Omar Gomez in attendance. I don't see anyone else here from the public. Let's see, let me just pull up the agenda. I think. One second, sorry. I had it up. At this, while I'm looking for this, is there anyone here from the public to speak about an item that is not otherwise on the agenda? Seeing none, we have minutes from the October 11th meeting. Councilor Munier, you were absent from that one. I will, Councilor Derby, do you have time to look at those?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve those.
Okay, and I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. You have to abstain because you're not. You were.
Oh, that's right, abstain.
Yeah. Okay. So we have two. We have the minutes are approved 2-0 with one abstention by Councilor Munier. And okay, here's the agenda. There will be no report from the Public Works Department. I spoke with the director earlier, and he will be here in December. He had he was double booked, so sends his regrets, but will be back and said that he will be able to speak to the Main and South traffic count at that time. Really, all the other items on the agenda are pretty much things I was hoping to talk to the DPW director about. With the exception of the ordinance committee final report, final review. But prior to getting into that, do either of the councilors have any concerns about any other items on the agenda? Okay. So at our last meeting, Councilor Derby and I reviewed the first item in the ordinance review committee report, which involved bicycle helmets. This was already reviewed as I think the other items were already reviewed by the prior public safety committee from last term. And I think our conclusion was similar to theirs, that instead of the police handing out fines, that there should be some sort of notification and education process. So we can work at that at a future meeting. Councilor Derby, do you have any further comments there?
Nope.
Okay. So the next item was, the next couple items were, so the next item in the ordinance review was section 6-8, which was loitering by certain minors during certain hours. And it reads, no person under the age of 17 shall loiter on or about the public ways of the city between the hours of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The prior committee had discussed this with the police department, and the police department stated that ordinance is outdated, and the committee had recommended striking that ordinance. I would agree with the sentiment from the prior committee. Councilors Derby or Munier, do you have any concerns there?
I mean, I think that recommendation makes sense because it can be used arbitrarily. And I think that was one of the concerns.
Makes sense to me. Councilor Munier, do you have any issues there?
No, that makes sense.
Okay, moving on. So section 6-9, discharging dangerous weapons. No person under the age of 16 shall discharge any firearm, air guns, BB rifles, or other dangerous weapons in the city. The prior committee discussed this with the police department. It's also an outdated ordinance. This is covered under legislation around hunting licenses. And again, the prior committee recommended 2-0 to strike this section. If it's covered elsewhere, I don't have any issues. Councilor Derby, any questions? Councilor Munier? All right, we're cranking here. Let's see. Section 6-15. Oh, this is probably a broader discussion. I didn't copy it into the notes I had. So this has to do with the fee schedule regarding penalties. So I'll just read generally what the prior committee had commented on. The police department noted that the list of ordinances subject to non-criminal disposition is not an exhausting list and should be updated. They also noted that the city fine for violating the handicap parking ordinance is $50 as opposed to a $500 state fee. The committee recommended updating the fee of non-criminal ordinance and recommendation to talk to the police department to see what the state fee is compared to the city and change the fee of the non-criminal ordinance. So I agree we could bring this back at another meeting, go through that, and maybe I'll do some due diligence and let me just type a note to myself to talk to the chief about this. Councilors, any comments?
I would just say, as we kind of look into this, definitely bringing the chief in makes sense, but also to look at surrounding communities and see where they put their fee structure at, or fine structure at, I should say.
I will reach out to Northampton, Holyoke. Does that sound enough? Or
Makes sense, yeah.
okay. Councilor Munier, any thoughts about that? So basically, our fines, a lot of our fines are completely outdated. They don't necessarily jive with state fines. So I would talk to the police chief to see what he recommends, and Councilor Derby was recommending that we just talk to some other cities too to see what they're doing for similar things.
It's a good idea.
Any other comments? All right, moving right along. So we have section 8-4 and 8-5. So these have to do with obstructing sidewalks and other public places by standing in groups. It said, so the recommendation from the prior committee was to review and revise. I'll just read those and we can decide if we want to get into this tonight or if we want to mull these over for our next meeting. So section 8-4, obstructing sidewalks and other public places by standing in groups reads, 3 or more persons shall not continue to stand or remain in a group or near each other adjacent to or on any sidewalk or in any public place in such manner as to obstruct the free passage of pedestrians after have been requested by a police officer to clear the public passageway. And then 8-5, which is similar, which is obstructing and disturbing other persons on public streets and grounds. It's similar. No person shall remain in any sidewalk or street or in any public place or public building within the city, or shall obstruct any passage to the same or the approaches thereto, and any person so being or remaining shall, when ordered by any police officer or watchman, immediately clear the public passageway. Councilor Drury, do you remember discussing this previously?
Yes.
What
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I think one of the concerns was about First Amendment right and the right to kind of congregate. That might be potentially unconstitutional. I think Omar can probably use there for those discussions too. So, but I believe that was one of the concerns that we had was if you're gonna stand out to make your voice heard, maybe that can be used as a tool to quiet you.
Counselor?
100%.
Same thing?
Yep.
Should we just send this to the attorney?
It's up to the councilors. If we want to not have it anymore,
Right.
it's up to us, and we don't have to ask. If we want to keep it.
I don't think we need to send it to the attorney. We're just going to say, hey, we don't need this anymore.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If we don't need it anymore, I don't see any point to send it to him.
Right.
If we want to keep it, I think there will be a question for him if it is constitutional or not.
Yeah, I guess my question would be, are there certain situations where, let's say it's like 11 p.m. and there's like a group of people that have been out at like a drinking establishment, they're hanging out on the sidewalk and obstructing the public way.
But I think the state law will allow the police to go there and say this is disturbing for the community, for the neighbors, and they can address that with the state law.
Okay. Do you want me to just run this by the chief just to see what he thinks?
Yeah.
And then decide? I don't have a problem removing. I just want to make sure that there might not be circumstances where he says.
Just to add in one little piece is I believe that we did discuss this piece with the chief, and he felt like there were other tools at his disposal that he could use to disperse people that were kind of like doing what you were saying.
Okay.
That this one piece wouldn't hinder his ability to keep people from obstructing the sidewalk if they were just doing so like be a nuisance.
So do you want to just recommend striking, or do you want me to just double check with him?
I mean, feel free to double check, but I think we're pretty good to strike it out.
Okay, Councilor Munier, any thoughts?
No.
Okay, I'll just I will let me just check with them just to familiarize myself. But I obviously I'll just take your recommendation under advisement. It makes sense. I just want to just make sure I just read myself into the conversation. I'm just going to write recommend a strike. All right.
Can I add something else too?
Yeah, of course.
I remember when we would discuss this as a committee, ordinance review committee, one of the concerns was about talking about people of color, right? If you have 5, 6 white guys in College Street and the neighbors are not complaining, but then you have 7 Latinos talking in Spanish, and the neighbor will complain, like a neighborhood will complain, how effective it is and discriminate against some groups instead of everybody. So that was part of the conversation too of the ordinary review committee.
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, my tendency is to just agree with the previous decision to strike it. I just want to just double check with him and read myself.
And I remember, I think one of the officers was in that meeting, and he was okay with the ordinary review to strike it. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if that was, Councilor Munier, do you have any thoughts?
This is about the blocking crossways?
Yeah, well, like basically, blocking crosswalks or other public ways. I guess the thoughts are that it could be enforced with bias, meaning like what Councilor Gomez was saying, as well as that there might be other state mechanisms to already deal with this, even if we don't have something local on the books.
Yeah, possibly strike it. If that's been already said, that's a good idea.
All right. I mean, that's fine. I mean, all this stuff's going to get debated again at the city council level, so I'll just double check with the chief, and it's just recommendations. Well, we're down to the end. I think, so the final one, I think I looked this up, and I think I wasn't sure exactly which one this was, even though it says it right here. But so basically, the final one here, just the note just says the Public Safety Committee recommend to send this section to the city solicitor, and it's Chapter 8, Article 3, Division 2. And the notes here say the section greatly impacts those in our community with disabilities and those with limited access to transportation. See attached letter from the Commission on Disability, need to revise to be more inclusive.
Forgot about to say
That's okay. I forgot to ask again. Did that have to do with snow removal? That was the section I think I found, but I'm not sure.
Probably is that.
I can look it up again. I guess if we could find that letter, I can just...
What is the recommendation?
It was to send it to the city solicitor. Let me see if I can find the general ordinances really quickly right now. I think I had looked this up, and what I thought I found had to do with snow removal, but I just want to make sure that
I think you're right on. So,
Is it? Okay.
yeah.
So.
I think it's because, like, the ordinance, it requires you to remove the snow within 12 hours from the sidewalks in front of your house. So it's this weird kind of topic that it goes both ways on this. Because for some people it might be a hardship to go out and clear the stuff, but then for other people that need to use the sidewalks, it's a hardship if they don't clear it. So, you know, it's like this, it's a little bit of a catch-22 too.
Yeah. Yeah, let me see.
I believe Greg said he was getting one of those little, a Kubota maybe, with a snowplow attached to the front that could probably be used to help in snowstorms to clear some sidewalks that are chronically uncleared.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that we've never had before. So that's new.
Can I go?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that would be good to probably wait until tomorrow's meeting. Why? Because tomorrow meeting, the Commission of Disability is going to give us a presentation about snow removal in front of the, I think we should wait until that to see what the Disability Commission thinks about it. And what they're gonna introduce tomorrow to us and the community and see their point of view. And then we should ask the community.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that's
But
helpful.
they're coming tomorrow for our meeting.
Okay. All right. Everyone's, yeah, I think that makes
So
sense.
are we sending that ordinance back to the council? Is that
No,
what
we're
you're-
just waiting for some more input and clarifying some of the conversations and prior input around that.
All right.
All right. Well, that was. I think that's it. Hold on. Let me just try to find. I don't want to keep losing the agenda. I had it. I mean, that's basically it for the meeting.
Okay.
Since
We don't have anything new on the traffic signs?
No, I mean, other than, so I could just report on that. So my conversations with the DPW director was that, well, you know, I think we just had some general ideas about where to put those, and those seem to and I don't have the list on me, but it was the usual suspects. It was like Holyoke Street, Northampton Street, Line Street, East Street, Park Street. There was someplace else. I'll have to look, but I think so. And so the police chief and the DPW director agreed generally, and we're waiting for free cash to be certified so that the DPW director, he has a bigger list that he wants to bring to the mayor for an appropriation. And so I think that would be in it. But I can just find that list and just forward it to the members of this committee and the city council president. So, I mean, I think we're generally of consensus unless either the councilors have concerns about kind of that first phase of the project. And so, yeah, so I think we, you know, potentially would include an extra sign for the city, the new city quick actions, you know, for Parsons. But I'll double check that list. I have it somewhere. I won't delay a quick exit from our meeting just to search through my email, and I'll send it out to you. So on that note, I think we've gone through, we've approved our minutes, we've gone through new business, old business. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilor Derby and a second from Councilor Munier. Councilor Munier, how do you vote? To adjourn, Councilor Derby,
Yes.
and I'm also an aye. So we are. This meeting is concluded. If I can figure out how to
My laptop's starting to get hot, so.
stop.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.